at least try to make a couple bucks.
That makes sense.
Well, Apple deposited 7 cents in my checking account 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
70 cents. I go.
It's ridiculous. What's worse is Google. Google used to.
I made money with Google's phone, but that was years ago.
And then it just dies, and then Google will not pay you until you reach $100. So it's like month after month after month, and then boom, you get a check.
Okay.
Just like that. Just like this. Exactly.
I've gotten.
You want some? This is where it was. You have a pizza cup? No, I apologize. So what do you need pizza?
Well, they might.
They don't need pizza. You can't have it. Yes. Watch out for the store. How's it going? It's getting better and better. Oh, I'm going to talk about it today. It's been good, but you know, I literally had this conversation. Like, I'm going to have to, because I was like, I know what people need, and at work, they're not using it. They're using a lot of it, but they're not. Everything is about agents. You're learning how to use cursor right. You're learning how to use cloud right. You know the things we do here, and that has to be part of that training. So I literally ripped out some things. I'm going to shut down there. I wasn't too happy with that, but I don't want to make it. It's already you saw it. It's two days.
You would have.
Where they're just.
Did you have a March session?
I did. At
How many students? We were here in December. No, we were in November. End of November.
I didn't have it in this month. I just rolled it over.
So you had it in February?
I did in January.
And it was packed.
12 people.
What was the location?
The PC professor. They were both over. So I wish I would have been going. I asked Todd, like, do they still have our office? No, it's all cubicles now. Tore it all down to the thing.
How was the PC professor?
He was okay. Do you remember Pizza Professor a long time ago? Yeah, he is a little bit that way, but the school it's been a school of programming for since the 80s. So it looks like they've upgraded computers, but it's still a bit old. Perfectly fine. Like, you know, a big projector or a big TV or something like this, you know what I mean, where, you know, everybody has a nice desk, but, you know, they have these really old computers and all that, so it got, you know, kind of pushing aside and all that. But, you know, it worked very well, and I ran out of space here. So I had to go back there. All that, and he said yes. That was awesome. Gentlemen, how are you? Welcome. Good. All right, your presenter? This guy looks a presenter. I've seen the picture. The bald guy. No offense. You have this. I don't. I can't even go back. How did you get here? You're 75. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's what it is. That's how you do it. You're born because you're Latino, man. That's different. I wish I was Latino.
You are. Are you kidding?
I'm 11th generation. The only one that's not Latino was the Spanish guy that married, I'm not kidding, an Inca princess to make me.
I thought your dad was for your
Yeah, for 11th generation. I'm with like half South America. He's an uncle. Yeah, princess will be working. That's as close as I'm going to
No, sure. I thought your dad was from Argentina.
I was from Argentina. Oh my God, my dad was from Argentina. His grandfather was from Argentina, and his grandfather was from Argentina.
So that means you're
11th generation.
You're Latin.
There isn't any more Latin American. I should look like, you know, him. This is a very good 11th generation. I don't say why. You know why? Layers on layers on layers of fat.
Got it.
said you welcome to the top of the meet forever. Gotta go get it. I'll bring it in. That's the only difference. What's up? Your birthday cake. No birthday cake this time. Oh, yes. I apologize if you wanted something done. It was, yeah. The diet drinker? We got water. Oh, afterwards, sorry with that. Right beside the bar stool over there, to the right, and then there's water over there. Your container, or you have mouth. There's a place. Perfect. I want a good spot. Good start. So I will warn you that there is an event for which I don't trust all of you, so I will literally be running for this stuff. You can tell me, I'm hoping you can get out of it, you'll see why. We started earlier today. Oh my. You'll be using the Docker a lot at work? No?
I use Docker.
You like it?
Yeah.
Good? Amazing? Best thing you ever seen? Or it works?
It works. It works.
Exactly. So some of you will probably want to join the password. So the password is 980 spaces. That's the location here. It's members, not guests. Ever since we've known this place 15 years, and there's always been a guest password, and they don't know the password for the guest. So if you can figure out the guest password, it's yours, free. And if not, you switch it. It's also free. Okay. All right, so I never know if it's well done. Oh my God, so funny. All right, so you're welcome to hold on.
You're welcome to watch. You're welcome to watch. You're welcome to. Is this too loud? Is it okay? Okay, it's good. Okay. So password is pass 980 exclamation point. It's all lowercase pass, and then it is member space and all that. So what I thought is I've been using. I'll do some crazy news. So anybody know who the biggest AI company? What's the biggest AI company around?
OpenAI.
It's got to be OpenAI, right? They invented this thing and all that. Well, at least they got the first guy did. And it has to be that way. And why would you say that? Google is also an AI machine, and it makes much more money than any of the other ones. So it's not Google. It's the China one, right? So OpenAI, why is it the biggest? So we can say those sort of things. So, but I mean, why is it considered the biggest? You know that because everybody uses it. More funding. They do have more funding. You're absolutely right. That they win. But one of the ways we can say it's bigger. You sure this is not loud? I'm listening. This is the sound I hear in my head all the time. I would say that one of the ways we would figure out which is the biggest is who gets the most money for AI. Google doesn't get money for AI. I mean, they sell services, but I'm sure they get much less. And I don't think they really report how much you're getting for AI, but I would guess it would be much less than OpenAI, Claude, and Quen, and all the other ones. So it should be how much revenue can they make, sales. I know they're not profitable yet, but sales. Well, this morning Claude expressed that they have, everyone know what ARR is? So it's if I make $1 million this month, just this month, I can just go and say, let's multiply by 12, I make $12 million in a year. Sounds okay, right? As long as I can keep making $1 million, but that's assuming I'm going to be able to do that. So that's ARR. It's not true. It's not how much I made this year. It's how much, if everything stays the same, how much I will make the whole year, if I'm making the same amount of money. They just announced that they made $30 billion if what they made this month can be calculated, multiplied by 12 months, and that's how much they're making. That is more than OpenAI. OpenAI makes, if they make the same amount of money multiplied by 12 months, $25 billion. So officially Claude is now bigger than OpenAI in sales. It's bigger than OpenAI in increase of revenue. Last month, they said they were at 19 ARR. Now they're at 30. So that's why today's talk is going to be a lot about Claude Code. But it's going to be how to use it in different weird ways. And I'd love your insights. I have planned a couple of different things, what I want to present. But this isn't the meeting where you all come in and wish me happy birthday. It was last meeting. This one is all about all of us. So stop me. I'm going to say something, correct me, interrupt me, add your story to it. I want to do that, and I think there's more value of a meeting that way. The fact that you are all here makes me feel $1 million, but we're all together. We're not here because I bring you all here for me. We're here for you, all of us. Right? We're all for each other. So, let's jump this one in a second. I'm Damien Montero. I'll go with the slides. I'm Damien Montero. You've seen me in a couple different places. If you're interested, I realize that developers, I had a good friend, not this guy. This guy knows AI very well. I have another good friend, and he is a fantastic developer. And if I told him, listen, I'd like to have a chatbot that chats with a PDF. Does anybody know what to do? Right? We got to code something, right? So I put together a workshop. It's over a weekend. This is a work talk. It is not free. So if you'd like, you can go to the QR code or Dev AI Bootcamp. You can also see it at the end of the presentation. We've been talking about how to do everything with Claude and things like that. Things you will also hear here. So that part of it, you can consider it like you got ripped off. Because what you will be talking about here, you won't repeat it there. And also how to build chatbots, how to build different systems that utilize, that you can make a production version of ChatGPT. Literally, at the end, you will have on a website a version where you can go to yourself, log in, and have ChatGPT, where it's your ChatGPT, not somebody else's. It's not your agent, it's not your LLM, not going to compete with Claude. We're going to use Claude, or OpenAI, or Google. In fact, we use all of them. But it's going to be yours. If you have any questions, ask me afterwards. Okay. Everybody know that Claude got open sourced, as the saying goes. So Claude didn't get open source. Claude Code is a program that lives on both your computer and the terminal, right? Claude, but also a desktop app. And of course, the most powerful thing isn't this program, it's the model that's in the back end. which is you can compare it, you can say it's better, you can say no, ChatGPT is better, or OpenAI is better, no, Google's better, whatever you choose, you understand that this is not the AI, this is a program. And you can install it, and you're free to install it. It's free because they understand you're going to use their services. And their services is their API, right? Well, this got open sourced. Nothing happens that you will talk about today, but there's a lot of things that got shown when it got open sourced. There is /buddy, a Tamagotchi game inside of Cloud Code. So you can play with it, you can interact with it, you can feed it, you can do all those things that we as little kids, if you're as old as me, you have this kind of gray hair and you're hiding it because you're coloring it, or you were born magically with perfect hair, then you don't know what this is, but if you know it, that's one of the things it has. So, and he stays there, by the way. And you can stop him by /buddy again. But you can feed him and do different things. There's some crazy things that Cloud Code do. And of course, you saw it, hopefully, or that's what you're interested in. We don't have to use Claude's LLM. And we will try a couple of different things together. And we will make sure it runs, and we will showcase everything about it. So there'll be some options where you're like, I don't want to pay $200. Now, just be aware, if you're paying the $200 fee, A, you better be using it. But B, it's much more than $200, right? I know you're using much more than $200. Yeah. They'll stop you out when you're hitting $900 or $800. If you hit the limit, the $200, and you hit the limit, you know you're hitting like $900. I don't know if you've seen the numbers. So they're doing a lot of things and all that. But anyways, you might be interested in some of the other options that we have in here. All right. So I'm going to skip this. This is good for the end. This is some basics. I'll talk about it. There are two places where a lot of the memory can come into Claude. And please excuse me if I'm not mansplaining. Well, majority of you are men, so I can't mansplain, right? That's illegal. I can only mansplain to women. But I can textplain. So maybe you already know. In your home directory, where your user is at, where your desktop lives, right? Not your desktop, but where it lives, is your home directory. You can put some of these files there. I don't know if you've seen it. The settings.json one is one we're going to be playing with a lot. All our magic is going to be in that folder. Okay? So you'll see that we're doing all sorts of different things in that file. Please use in that folder. And it's inside .claude inside your computer, not in your project, in your computer. There's a Claude, there's statistics, there's commands. You'll know about there's also other projects. That's not something that they push too much. There is also skills. And that the difference is, and again, please excuse me if I'm explaining to people that already know this, there's a difference between what you kind of generalize, what you want all your projects to do, that lives in your home directory, right? The main rules that you want to happen. You add a couple of skills and you're like, always, this is always my skills, and always make sure it's what you want. So you like a particular library on the front end or the back end, put it in, right? That way you don't have to specify it. And this gets sent in with each one of your requests. Okay? Any questions about that? Most of you maybe already knew that. Hopefully there's a couple of things I showed you off here. Don't worry, we'll get more excited than this. Questions? All right. Then there's the project. Looks exactly the same with a couple of limitations. There's no settings. It doesn't make sense that you'll be using one Claude instance in one and then a different account on the other one. So the projects only have the Claude MD. Sometimes people suggest don't use Claude MD. Use the exact same thing, which is Agent MD. And Agent MD, please excuse me, MD, is the exact same thing. Claude will recognize it as a Claude. It's the main rules of this project. Okay? And the beauty of Agent MD, if you have Copilot, if you have Gemini, if you have anything else, if you have Codex from OpenAI, it will also look at this. And you realize that the agents, so, they suggest Claude MD because that would be, by the way, I'm almost sure that Copilot and the other ones also look at Claude MD, right? But Agent MD is supposed to be the right MD. I already said settings. This is wrong. Settings, I don't think you can do anything with settings. It says scheme settings, but it kind of is, it won't be that useful, the settings, because there's some settings that really pertain to your computer, and we'll look at those today. There's commands, there's skills, and you can put MCP specific agents. Everybody know what MCP is? Yeah. What do you not know? That's the answer, right? So what is MCP? Help me out here. How can I describe it?
It's essentially tooling that the AI calls from other backends. So like for instance, Stitch, Google has like an MCP server that clients interact with.
Yeah.
So when it makes
I don't understand AI. What is it in the world of web service? What is it? What is the equivalent?
like GraphQL.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, right. Absolutely. So it's tooling, it's APIs that the AI can call, right? We call this API Swagger. If you heard that, there's another one, Wisdo. That's very old, but that's the new invention, right? They recreate the wheel. So these are all the different services, outside tools, APIs that this thing knows how to call. Fantastic one with Figma, right? So you can interact with Figma. You go get this particular project, bring it in, and create all the pages that you see in Figma. They can do that, right? Depending on certain requirements, and it understands which project you're in, etc., which you define in that file. Just a reiteration. It's first your home. That starts everything, and then it can be overwritten by the project. Sounds obvious, right? Just wanted to point it out. That's the magic. There is, remember that manage. If I made these slides, holy shit, I made the slides. Maybe I had some help with AI. Anyways, the skills know that it's first the home one, and then whatever it is overwritten by the one on your tools. So if you don't have anything in that project you're in, and you have a main one, you can do that. I want to show you some things, and I think this is where I think some of the fun will come in there. This is a website, just a reminder. It is cc.storyfox.cz, right, for China. All right. So it's just shortcuts. But at the very bottom, there's some cool little things. It's incredibly small to see. My apologies. We'll go through some of these. There's some shortcuts to see what's going on in there. Highly recommended. You choose whether it's Mac or Windows, or change the commands so the icons will come in there. Again, CC. Oops. I have Zoom here. I do have Zoom. cc.storyfox.cz, right? CZ is the international code for China, because obviously China has these letters E on it, right? Those freaking Czechoslovakians with their CH. All right. Cool. This is a fun one. This you're welcome to try with me. Oh, not what I meant to do. So this is more than just, your desktop has a bunch of different things. You've seen it, so let me do that, right? So Claude desktop. This is Claude's whole infrastructure. So you have ChatGPT, the chat, basic chat. You can send information. Think of this as, I want access to the world, and I want the world to, like, here document, take it and give me an answer. The other two, co-work and code, are for, let's work on this thing that I have on my computer. That's how I see it. So code, we all know as a terminal app, they now have unbelievable changes to their version of here. And if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend, if you have an iPad, try it on your iPad. Because you can start something here and then continue it on the iPad. And it says some of the things you've seen in there. OpenClaw, anybody heard of OpenClaw? Not Claude, right? So OpenClaw, the revolution was that the gentleman that started OpenClaw was sitting in the beach with WhatsApp working. He didn't have a good connection. He has a laptop, but didn't have a good connection with a great computer at home with Claude. And he was like, I can't figure out if the project's finished or not. He was already agentically programming, hey, do this and press enter. And he would go to the beach, and then he'd be like, wouldn't it be great that I knew whether it started, and maybe asked about other things. And so he made that. So he essentially said, Claude code, but with remote control. Big, huge success. And Claude code decided, oh shit, we have a competitor. So they've added almost all the same things. So we'll talk about those. First fun one is code. Literally here. Voice. How you doing, Claude? Tell me more about yourself. Oh, sorry. Tell me more about yourself. Nice. As you can see, it didn't go very well. All right, I want you to list all the files here. Stupid pet tricks, as the old people know, right? This is funny, useless, absolutely. Press enter. I showed you, Tom, I got you. I showed you a useless voice. What do you need voice for? I don't know. But if you have a friend of yours that doesn't know that wants to code, and you can press a button. That's it. If you're old like me, there was a program called the Jetsons. And if you're young like him, then you know that it's on Twitter and on TikTok and everything. And the guy's job in Jetsons was to press a button. What was that button? You guys didn't see it. I saw it because I had good eyes when I was younger. Approve Claude agent. Approve, I didn't get it right. You got one side. Great setup, bad timing for the things. So that's one of the fun things, right? So you can do all those type of things, and we'll continue on with more. Loop. Everybody know what that is? Okay. All right. Ooh. Apparently it crashes. So loop every hour. Do I have a good connection? Let me see if I have a good connection to the instrument. I do. Check if there are any new files, and if there's new files, feed the buddy. And it'll do it. Every hour, it'll actually do this. That's a stupid thing I just told it to do, but you can have it send emails and all that. So that's one thing that we get as part of it. Everybody know how to get rid of the always asking you permissions for something? What do you do? What do we do? Tell me, because I forgot. Dangerously. I hate that. Let's see. In Claude Code, the terminal app, the moment you stop the terminal app, for which I did it a little bit too fast, there's a way to restore it, but if you stop it, the loop doesn't work. It may be obvious, but it has to be said. Claude. Dangerous. All right, then. Is that to resume? That's okay. Perfect. Resume. We should have done it to someone that actually knows how to spell. All right. Google that. Oh no, ChatGPT that. Dangerously. Yeah, it's dangerously. Exactly. All right. Remote control. Anybody seen this? All right. That's right. There's a problem with remote control. I'll showcase the problem. Oh my God. The problem is Docker quit. Let's start it again. I don't want to do it without the Docker. Here's the problem. Let's see if it starts. Damn it. That's not something I want to be comfortable with. I don't know if you guys can figure out why I'm not comfortable running remote control. Anybody know? It gives you, because it's Windows, that's what it is. No, that's because this is a Mac CPU instead of a Windows machine. This is the problem and all that. Did you know that? It is. It is. So, let's do this. Quit. The problem with remote control, and I wanted to emphasize it, and I'm going to try to throughout this conversation, is that when I show you the QR code, each and every one of you will be able to take over control of my Claude. And I wanted to see what was that like. And Claude, Docker was the only way I was going to do it. And I'm so interested in that I apologize, but I'm going to reboot. This was it. This was the reason the gentleman that made OpenClaw. Yes, there was a million other reasons. It became very popular. He added all those features. He had enough money to that at the end before OpenAI bought it. He was literally spending $10,000 of his own money for you all to play with his little funky app. But if he has said if he had just remote control in Claude, which they released a month after OpenClaw became big, if Claude code had this / remote control, he wouldn't have released OpenClaw because that was it. And you'll see it when you try that. You will literally have Claude on your phone. And it will know completely what's going on. Now, they don't need Claude code because Claude Desktop, when started, will create a session, will connect to a GitHub repo, that's where you work, and it only works with that, and will let you continue the work or remote control without even doing remote control. Where you're sitting inside GitHub where there's no computer at all. Like you've turned off your computer at home, and if GitHub's still available, your iPad will be able to continue with it, as long as your phone as well. All right. Now we're cooking with the ice. Right? My security friend here is freaking out here. You got to try it because apparently you can control my computer with this here. Let's see if I can convince him to scan it so I can get the opposite. I get a remote control to your computer. To your friend. I'm just kidding. Do you see it? It's asking for an account. This is new. There is a bunch of slides that are literally hiding because what used to work doesn't work anymore. It's asking for my account.
It's saying that I have to be signed into the same account.
Same account. Originally, this didn't work that way. Originally, you could just, if someone put the QR code in a slide, that's it. You could have done it and all that. So, I do have an account. Let's see what's going on. I'm not disbelieving. I just don't believe. That's the difference. Maybe. Let's find out. I also don't know if it's working here because it just opened up. And I think it just opened up the regular chat for me. No? It does say it's no? That's not it. All right. I tried dispatch. Dispatch is different. We'll talk about that and all that. So that's a good one. But it's asking me if I want to dispatch to pair, which is different. And that's a one we'll talk about, and we can talk about that next and all that. So this used to be a big concern before, and when this first came out, I worked for, well, essentially Toyota, right? And our head of AI, one of the researchers was like, don't give up QR code. And I'm like, you're wrong, huh? And I climbed it, and then I went to his computer and scanned the QR code, and all of a sudden it just logged me in, and it was it. So This used to be something that didn't work in real life. So maybe you're lying to me, and the moment I disconnect, you'll have access to my computer. Let's find out. That was remote control. Was that new to anybody? At least one of you guys learned something like that. Was it new? Okay. So the next one, and we can talk about it. Oh, look at that. That's if you're new. You're new. That's good. That's good. That's good. What they've done is, my wife asked for this. It's like, no. I don't want control of my own. I want to give me and my sisters access to this one location where we can all work together. Dispatch is that option. It can connect directly to Discord, and it can connect to Telegram, and it can connect not only to Telegram with your Telegram, just like OpenClaw, but to a Telegram group. Be careful, that is giving away your control to anybody. But Discord also works this way, where all of a sudden you can continue that conversation, where you can go and say what people are feeling nowadays. That's something that they're saying that, we were all concerned that agents and AI was going to take over our jobs, and then we were finding that we're doing pretty good, we're doing our agents, but what people are freaking out is that they're up at 2 o'clock in the morning checking. Did it finish? Did it finish? Oh shit, something's going wrong, let me stop. And so that can be okay, and you can touch grass, as the saying goes. Just, it's working, let's just walk away and be there and all that. So the remote control didn't work, but it should have, and we can talk more about this a little bit later.
Question. What if you're using Claude Code as a desktop app, can you still do remote control in there?
Yes. Let's find out. The desktop does a bunch of different things, and as you can see here, there is the session that we saw a second ago. So let me see if I still have it running. I do have it running. C39. It is my account, so what you guys saw makes sense, and I can list all the files, and it's going to be in the back end this that's running. It's not this desktop. So this could be my iPad. This could be my phone, and for some reason it's not on my phone at all, which is unusual. I apologize. Let me see, what can I do to show it to you? Is that seeing it? So I chose code in the chat app, and when I click on code, and all of a sudden right there was the line a second ago. I'm sorry. I click on code, and at the very top is that ID that you saw a second ago. I do apologize that I'm jumping all over the place. See if I can do this okay. See that number at the top? It's backwards, I know. But you can see that it's the exact same number. So it's the C 39. See? Say it again? Yes. So it's the first one, and so I should be able to, I list the files, and it has everything in there where I'm sitting. So I listed the files, and it's from that part of the directory. So I'm able to achieve that goal. So I just went /remote, and if you notice, although I did scan it, I'm almost sure it wasn't useful, because it had it here ahead of time. And I've done this on the iPad, where I can literally continue my work on the iPad. It's a lot easier on the iPad. I'm an old man, and I don't see very well. My daughter lives on these things, so you're one of those people. You can do that. You can continue what's going on here, see what's going on, see what's up, and it will show you what's going on. It doesn't show anything here on the screen to tell you what's going on, which is a little scary, but I am able to essentially run that. I didn't do a search, I didn't Google, I listed the files, and it's showing me the files, and I know the files for that little project I threw up there, and it's in there. Ooh. And you're seeing what I'm seeing on my phone. See the list? I didn't do anything. I typed it over here. Let's do this. There we go. So it is working on It's working on what is on the left. That's, imagine my computer at home. What's on the right happens to be, for you to see it easier, yes, it happens to be my computer. So if I was looking at something at home, I have a big, powerful Mac at home. It's doing that. Shut up. I didn't go into the Mac world. I just have one, just for fun. And I'm a big Windows guy, so you didn't notice from that commentary. My home computer is a Mac, and I'm going to show something that I think is really impressive. This is to show it off, but I did it over here. So I can continue my conversation with the Mac out here while having a coffee with each one of you and seeing what's going on and seeing if it continues there. And it's conscious of what's going on and it's sending it to different places and all that. It doesn't show it and all that.
What would it do if your computer was off or asleep?
I don't think it would do that. If I control C on the left-hand side, this will just simply hang there, and it seems to hang there not realizing that this is stopped. So on the left-hand side, this is my pretend computer at home. I can go ahead and pause it and control C, like stop it. I'm almost sure it'll go back, but let's try it, right? It's a good example. I'm going to go control C, shutting down the active session. I'm going to come in here. You don't have to see me tapping over here, but I'm going to go and say how many directories are, remote control has been disconnected. This guy doesn't say that. Any files. This guy's still pending, but you saw a second ago that the desktop realized what's going on there. So you forgot your computer at home, as long as you left it with remote control, that's fine. The desktop version, I don't think has remote control. You asked that earlier. It has sort of, it's more like a client as well. But what I can do over here is start a new session. And over here, I don't know if you can see it here. Kendrick, I gotta see this. You know what Team Rojo is? You know this. Red teaming. What is that? Red teaming is? What's it, if I have to describe to these fine people what red teaming is, what is it? Trying to break in. The good guys are trying to break in, right? That's the team that's the good guys, right? What's the opposite of the red team? What's the DO team? Blue team, okay. So bad guys are the red team. They're part of your organization. Its sole purpose is to do that. I made a project that will red team your LLM if you want. It's on my GitHub. And what it does is it tries about 32 well-known endpoint attempts. Hey, I'm part of the FBI, you gotta let me in. Hey, I need access. Oh my goodness, someone's dying and all that. So that's the project in there. But I've opened up the program. I've selected that. That's in my GitHub repo, right? And then it's in there. And the moment I try that, excuse me, I'm zoomed in. I do that. I choose, whether it's the main branch or whatever, and I list the files. And I can interact. I'm interacting not only in this case, it's my local computer as well. But if I did this in the iPad, which cannot run Node, cannot run Python, cannot run programs, it will create a virtual machine in Claude's servers. I don't know how much you can do in those, and interact the same way you could do the things in here. So you could be on your grandma's computer, log on to your session, find the session you had in your home computer, go to Claude.ai, log in, put your password, everything. You can trust your grandma. Come on. I know you can. You can trust your grandma. And you could continue that work from your grandma's computer. Big old screen, nice keyboard, nice mouse, and continue what you're doing work. It's magic. But there is no remote control of this. I guess this sort of lives only with that program and all that. I'm going to start a new session. I'm long. Just put the same number in there. Okay, cool.
Just to close the thought on that.
Yeah, please.
When you start like a cloud session, I don't think you need remote control because that is like
Yes.
already remote control.
Exactly. So if I'm a smart programmer, I'll leave things on GitHub. And then I'll be like, it's in GitHub, in a private repo. This is actually a private repo, no problems. And yes, I'll continue on my iPad if I like that, or in my grandma's house, log into my Claude AI, right? There's no Teams or sharing, right? It'll be yours. So you log into yours with your username and password, and two-factor authentication, blah, blah, blah. And then you can continue doing the work, and it will notice that you're online, and so therefore it will go ahead and prove it, right? All this blah, 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 let's prove it. Claude.ai, on the left-hand side, it should say, hello. Hello, code, right? Goes through here, there's the section, list the folders, but not the files. And again, it's sorry, it makes it a little hard to see, but there it is. You're continuing that conversation as long as you have that remote control that you have somewhere else. In this case, it's still the same laptop, but you have it in your grandmother's or your mom's or your dad's or your uncle's computer, right? On a incognito mode, log in, finish, work, continue.
So are you instantiating that from the command line with the remote control?
Yes, yes I am. I'll show you. It's that remote control, and you can go or I'm going to go in, just Claude, enter, /remote control. This one does not have a QR code, I've noticed. It has that URL, but again, I don't mind you copying it. I'm right in the place you should be able to, and boom, you get saw. The moment I opened it up, and of course on my phone too. Let's see. Yeah. C39 memorize rockets. Yeah, not even look at it. Right, so there it is. And I can continue, and I get the little green bubble saying it's active. Right? I can go to the other one, it won't be active. You don't know it's the same computer, but you could have multiple computers doing this.
Follow-up question?
Yes.
So are people instantiating with remote control, or are they just going with dispatch? So then, what do we need to use dispatch for if we just go for remote control?
So dispatch always remembers, and it always stays there. It's essentially Claude code running all the time. I don't know much about it. So, because it's fairly new, like it's a week old, not 2 weeks old, like remote control, which I know everything about, but, I'm kidding. I don't know much about, do you know about this dispatch?
I was using this in OpenCloud.
Yeah.
And then I was using so much API credits that I just started using this.
Yeah. And this, that's the other one. Open Claude's being an asshole right now, the company Anthropic. So now they're number one, blah, blah. So they won't let you use Claude in OpenCloud, right? Yeah. Google also, they're doing the same thing. OpenAI officially said yes. Pay us your $20, pay us your $200, and we'll let you use it in OpenCloud. So if that's what something you like, OpenAI is the way to go. Or pay by the API. You use the API key, you can use Claude, you can use Gemini, you can use everybody. Just not the per month. Because if you don't know, essentially you're getting a bit of a steal. For $20, they give you up to $50. For $200, they give you up to $900. So what did you say? It's a ton of money, yeah.
If you were using XEL, your Claude Max plan,
What you do?
which you should you're basically $1,000 worth of tokens.
Yes.
Pretty much everybody was just running Opus with their OpenClaw setups.
Yes.
Which was like unprecedented for the to the point where they're like, yeah,
Exactly.
it's running its course now.
Yeah.
Now, if you have the max plan, you add an additional billing for like additional use, which is kind of like shit, whatever.
Yeah.
At that point, the way I want to see it is you're better off using like Google Gemini, the regular conversation part.
Right.
And then just use AWS for more competitive.
And Gemini, I can tell you because that's what my OpenClaw is running on. I'm not running on Twin Daughter or I do have a Pro plan, but how come I have a Pro plan? I have a Pro plan that I'm using the API, and they kind of let you use a bunch of free credits at the beginning of the month, at the beginning. So if you look at my, so I'm running OpenClaw on home, and Gemini API key. Don't worry, you're not going to see any keys here. Billing. I don't go crazy with OpenClaw, so just be conscious of that. There you go. So far, I've used it. It's 67 cents this month. 67? Did it on purpose. There you go. That was awesome. Cool. All right, let's get to meat and potatoes. My favorite part. You guys are all talking about money. You're talking about how to spend money. How about saying no money? So, how are we going to achieve that? A couple of different ways. This is less. Anybody know what Open Router is? Right. A couple of you know. Okay. So it's a website that essentially is becoming a broker for all different services. And so it sounds a bit stupid at the beginning. You're like, think of paying for Google, but paying 5% more. You're like, sorry, what? What's the benefit? Well, that they have a bunch of ones you can switch to. You can, for example, sign up to different services and use a little bit of them, a little bit of them, a little bit of them to spread it out. And it's not a commercial. OpenRouter.ai. Models. Bear with me here. NVIDIA. I think it's the one. There we go. It is 120 billion parameter model. And you can tell from the size of it, it's free. Okay? Is it going to be better than OpenClaw? Than Claude Opus 4.6? No. Is it better than OpenAI 5.4? No. Is Gemini better than Gemini 3 or 3.1? No. Absolutely not. But it's going to be pretty good. And for most of the times, it's going to be great. Yeah. You are going through a third party. It's a great point. So you have to be conscious of that. They have licenses for it. When you are going to your credits, you can pay with Cash App, Karma. I don't know what happened, but I used to be able to pay with Bitcoin. So you read into that, whatever you want to read. So I had a bunch of money from Cash App, so I just put it in there, and I had much more on that. I was just like, I'll just throw it in there. I've been playing around with it for the demos and everything like that. You have a question? Yeah, go. Right, so you want to do Kini, perfect. You can go to different places. You're going to tell me, and that's the key. That's one of the things we do at the boot camp. You have to know what to do, and you have to test that. Because Open 4.6, let's pretend we all agree is the best. Let's just, for 1 second, you don't have to. But why pay all of that if this one works great, right? At work, we have a professional company. One of the apps that I manage is a very profitable AI-backed company, and we use 5.3 mini from OpenAI, which is something around like $3 input, $5 output, not $15, $25 output. And we find it's great. For what we're using about it, it's great. So there's always a chance to go and say, you want to try Kini? Anybody use Cursor? Anybody like Cursor? Oh, it fell out of favor. Everybody's favorite was Cursor. Do you use Cursor? You used it, right? It's good. So it was incredible. And then they came up with their own model. It was tremendous. It is tremendous. It's fantastic. And someone found out it's just Kini. Kini K 2.5, but to be fair, it's post-trained, pre-trained? No, shoot. I'm blanking out here. They post-trained it. They added things in it. What's that? Fine-tuned. That's it. Thank you. So it's, and they're running on their own environment. So Cursor was literally, they say that for every $100, 99 was going to Claude, what Opus, to Anthropic, please excuse me, because everything was going to them. So Cursor was worth $1 billion, $10 billion, $20 billion, whatever, but technically they weren't making any money because everything was going in there. They realized they could set up some of their own servers and essentially become their own. They had to start with somewhere. They started with Kini, K2.5, fine-tuned. And it works great. You use? Okay. Jonathan, what do you use that? What? Is it VS Code? No. IDE. VS Code? No, Windsurf. Yeah, we just moved over. Yeah. They have anti-gravity now and all that. Absolutely. So, what is this for? Again, open router. Again, I'm not trying to advertise anything. You can try some of the models, and you can sort of have it in your collection of models and to go to. You are literally giving them money. They used to accept a bunch of money that you might have in other places like PayPal or things like that you might be like, I'll just give you some money. And they will charge you an overage on top of the API key. So if you found that the answer was not Kini, but let's look, but it's something else that you can get access to. So what I say Anthropic was, it was $5 and $25 output, 37 cents, $1.72. So if you find that it works, this is a place for it. This is a good place. It's out there. I'll show you some of the other ones. Say it again. Jerome is good. You like that one? They showed it in the front page. So they have their own server. Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. Exactly. That's an important thing. Yes.
Some of these models, I mean, you can get a stripped down model. I had a 3090. So, I'm running some, 24B, 21B models, like, GLM, Flash, just locally through Llama.
That's it.
It actually doesn't do a bad job for some tasks. If you have
Absolutely. What happens when your Mac, your $3,000 Mac is at home and you're here presenting with your Windows laptop that costs $380? You're fucked. Except LM Studio, if you set up your Mac and you're connected to it and you're on Studio connected, you need an account. So if you wanted to be anonymous, that's not anonymous. I can run, so what you're talking about is local models. And so for anybody else, it's essentially the same thing we talked about a second ago. But we have a bunch of different models. And so there are ones that you can run locally that do, like you said, 80% of the job. And in my opinion, 80%. It's not that you're okay with 80%. It's that it's doing 100% of what you need it to do and costing you nothing or less than what's going on. And one of these that costs nothing is when you're running on your own computer. And so what LM Studio has done is make it easy. I can search for something. I hear Kini or GLM, whatever it's called, is up there. I can try it. They go to the place, the main sort of collection of it. It's called Hugging Face, who cares? The main collection of it. And there's Google Gamma 2.6, the latest one. Right? Doesn't fit in this computer. How can I get it running? So, what I do is I connect both of them, and again, I'm not trying to advertise it, then my M1 Max, what, the Zen 5 by now? Fuck, this is old. Oh, shit. So, a $3,000 Mac that used to cost $3,000, with a lot of memory, can load a model. I can load it. What is loaded? And then, where is it? Take my word for it. What do I do here? There it is. Load model. Is that it? That's not it. All right. I was doing it last night. I don't know what's going on in here. Let's pretend it's that one. And you can load a larger model, but it doesn't even matter. This is something that's fun. It's not related to that. So I have it running on my local box, right? So it's either run local or run remote, who cares? I can access it through localhost, right? So now I don't have to go to Open Router. That gives me a model that was $1.76 instead of $25. That's already low. Or some of the models that for a while would be free, like NVIDIA's, and some of the other ones. Some crazy ones. But Open Router just pays for it. They have enough money. So how about I run it locally? Great. But I want to run it not just to chat. I want to run it in Claude. So, let's see if I do this right. There we go. This is the settings. You're welcome to take a picture. By the way, all my slides are always at slides.floridajs.com. You can go there right now. And right now, we're at slide. This. Oh, I'm like, there. So you can define this information, and Claude is happy to point itself to any model. It's not okay with every model. Some models just don't work. GPTs doesn't work. Bullshit. They prevented it from bullshit. I'm pretty sure it's in the code. But not every model will work. The Google one I found works just fine. So we'll see it in just a second. So I point to where it is. That's a bad example. Sorry about that. That's my Mac Studio. You have a place for if it's Open Router and you have a key. You can put the key. This is the code for that. You can put some of the other things, and I would say that if you do put some of these information, just put default models. What that means for specifically opening LLM Studio where you're running it locally. Some of you may have heard of OLAMA. That's the same. It's a program that runs locally that lets you run this. So I'm going to do that. So as you can see, it's localhost, port 1234. That's LM Studios. I have the authentication token key of dummy. It doesn't have to matter. Some information. Do you have a question? Okay. And I'm going to come in here and go Claude -- settings. So it just happens to be where my folder is. Really what you're saying is settings and then the particular file. I happen to have all these, and we'll talk about these in other slides. In fact, Claude, and also with the QR code, that I was so excited to try to hack my computer, also blocks some of these. So I have slides. I'll leave the slides and we'll talk about them. Because some of them are great places to get free LM AI endpoints that you can play with all day long, that you can replace your Microsoft ones with. I know you use a lot of AI with your apps. You can put some free ones in. So look at this. So one of them is local, one of them is LM Studio, but this is the line, excuse me, -- settings, LM Studio, or of course, if you override what I have this one with your settings, then you have to do it, just Claude, and it will look at settings.json. Okay? Once I do that, Claude opens up. Perfectly happy. Model says default model, which means whatever I have here. Oops, let's stop that. Actually, I'm going to try to stop as many things as I can to get a little bit of extra memory. I'm not rich like you guys, so there's only 16 gigs of memory on this guy. LM Studio is right now hosting this particular model and is available. And so when I come in here, I'm going to say, let's find model, list files. And we'll see something a little bit scary. And I don't want you to get scared of here. This is something I'm making a mistake in. It's loading. And it'll be loading for a minute. Don't take that as your answer, because when we try Open Router, you will see it does not take a long time at all. Okay? But if you want Claude to do something where you're going to start it and have it work all night, and you don't want to pay $2,000 or $200, and you're okay with it going over weekends, because you did dash dangerously run and skip versions, exactly. So once it does that, again, please understand that there has to be something I'm doing wrong. There's no way that a perfectly fine LLM takes this long, because this computer is not being taxed at all. It's not doing anything. Okay? Now let's, because I'm running it on the Mac. Forget about that part. It should not take this long. Oh, where's my LLM studio? Okay? So again, I just want to remind you, that's not the case. I know what you're thinking. You will see that it works just fine, and that's my point. And I'll switch to the Open Router and show you that the Open Router is perfectly fine and fast in just a second. Don't worry, that's not the whole key. While we're waiting for the other one, you can see that I define the base URL. I apologize, I'm doing it twice. I think I'm out of just obsession and all that, but there's only one that's needed. The Open Router is not needed. The Anthropic auth token is the actual one that it uses. And then you can read the other ones, and as you can see there, I'm trying Nematron. Or some of the other ones. This is the free one. I think I tried it, didn't quite work, so I'm using Kinney. Ooh. This is the directories. Amazing. All that for nothing, right? Let's try some of the other ones. Let's see if it has an error if we have the wrong models. Here's the key with this. If you're going to play with some of the models work, some of the models do not work. And it will do this, and then at one point it will say something's wrong with the model. And that means that this model, it just doesn't work. There are some middle files, please give me, some little proxies that seem to do something that makes Claude Code think it's hitting Claude, and it isn't. It makes it point to something else, and that works with OpenAI. Correct. I'm not using Claude at all. I'm only using those 2 cents that you saw a second ago. So in this case, that worked. You can see that it's listed here, right? And if we open up Claude, let's make sure we have it something that looks like this. We open up, by the way, at work, we were doing this. At work, we had Claude through Microsoft Foundry because the company has authorized everything through Microsoft, but not through Claude. So we had Claude Code working and hitting Foundry, the Microsoft collection, similar to Bedrock from AWS, the collection of models, one of them being Claude Code. AWS is the same, right? So if you have a great connection at work and you're like, I'm only allowed to use AWS Bedrock, the collection of models in AWS, you'd be like, but Claude's in there. Oh, but you're not allowed to use Claude. Well, you can tell Claude, here, use this URL, you give it some information, you give the URL at the top, authentication, you can see the slides for more details. Open Router. Yeah, there it is. So that's the key. Won't open too much, but you can see that it's exactly like the slide. Ignore this line right here. That's a new valid line. It has the authorization key for my Open Claude. And does that answer your question? Like where you can? Okay. So if you find this is a free one. So I'm not using anything at that moment. And it was okay. I don't know if you saw it. We'll do it again. I'm using OpenClaw, right? It's Open Router. I'm pressing Enter. This files. I don't know if you've ever seen Claude. Claude Code doesn't seem to run very fast, but it does seem to do a fine job. And here it's already started. Okay? It's taking way too long to run that command to do that. So sometimes I feel like, they've done something. But as you can see, it did the job. And like I tell you, if you're running something over a weekend and you've turned on the YOLO mode, whatever you want to call it, where it doesn't ask you anymore, and you have it do a lot, like here's a nice Claude MD, a well-defined story, you've included screenshots, you've included definitions, you've included as much as you can, and you're like, this is I'm feel comfortable, and you started it, and you're like, it's doing it. Okay, it's going to take twice as long. Fine. It's not going to be 20 minutes, it's going to be 40 minutes. Who cares? You're out having lunch, right? And it's free. And you got everything with Claude Code. That's it, guys. That's the magic. Questions, comments. What have you guys been doing that's fun?
Which local, do you have a recommendation for a local model for MCP tools?
Gamma. So, Google Gamma, Gamma, G-E-M-M-A is the latest. It's fantastic. I have a bunch of things to play with, but I find the best one to be Gamma. If you can afford, they have a pretty large one that takes at least 20 gigabytes of memory space in your video RAM. If it's the Mac, consider it 3/4 of your Mac, right? So if you have a Mac, 3/4 of it is always your video cam. You can set it higher, but automatically, if you do anything, you can have it. So if you have, for example, 32 gigs of memory, 24 is the maximum you do, so you could load this very large Quen 3 or the Gamma 26 billion perfectly fine. Both of those, by the way, both of the ones I mentioned, I didn't realize I had them both there, great models. When Gamma was in 3.1 or something like that, we used it with a lawyer client of ours that wanted everything to be local. So I set up my Mac in the corner, and we were able to handle 5, 6 lawyers all working at the same time, and they thought they were on ChatGPT. It was 64 gigs of memory and 1 max. So at this moment on eBay, it's $800. It's magic. And that's one of the best products in all that. So, like I said, please excuse me if you're a Mac person, I love you, but I'm a Windows person, but when it comes to AI, right now they're winning. No question about it. That 4090, which will you have? 3090. It will kick the ass of my M1 Max. The difference is the M1. I have an M1 Max. It's the equivalent of an M5. Like the number of GPU processors and it's the same speed. I've seen speed. I've run the test that I've seen M5s, regular M5s, not Pros or Max. Regular M5s. My M1 Max is the exact same speed. So they've caught up to M1 Max. But the 30, how much memory does it have? Beautiful, fantastic. You could run both of these models. The 48 or 96, that's like $10,000. At that moment, you have to think of a Mac instead, because it will run 30. The RTX always beats them. Even your 3090 might beat my Max, but it don't need it by much, maybe 20%. Even the 590, so the 32 gigs of memory, the top ones, do a good job, but they do like 40% faster. And sometimes you have to value what that is, right? That is, at this moment, $4,000. 5090, correct me if I'm wrong. It's got to be up there. I know 5080 is $2,000. So it's up there. Right, exactly. And right now, the biggest thing is memory. These models from Google are fantastic. By the way, please excuse me completely diverting myself. That's a lot of noise that's out there. I think we're about to be reined in. Bear with me. Google AI Galaxy. What is it? Have you seen this? Edge Galaxy. So, Google has an app. It's free. It's on your phone. You download Gamma 4 on it, is what it's called. be really careful. You type in Google AI Galaxy, which is how you keep on doing it, you're going to get other people's. Make sure it's from Google. You can run a very good model on your phone in airplane mode, on your phone, no matter what phone you have, iPhone 11 or faster, and most of the Androids the last 5 years, let's say. On your phone, completely. And they'll give you code if you want to build a mobile app. And you can use a local model. It's big. It's 2 or 3 gigs. It's huge for inside of a phone, but if your phone has 128 gigs and you didn't already use them like I did, then it's not bad. And that means you can have literally a private conversation with nobody else listening because not even Google knows what you're doing, because it's only happening on the phone with not a single bit of internet other than to download the model. Once you download the model, go in airplane mode, go nuts. That's cool. And that's one of the crazy models that you can run in there locally. Very good. This one. So go search for this, Google AI Edge Galaxy. That's the app. Looks like this. It's on Android and on iPhone, and of course on your iPad. I love my iPad. Macs can go away and iPhones go away, but please don't take away my iPad. That I love. No bad. So, and I do have an iPhone and an Android and a Windows phone. Anyways. So this is magic stuff and all that. So, all right, your turn. What are we talking about next? So.
I've seen some stuff on Reddit and YouTube about guys who say they can work with 10 agents at once.
So stupid. It's ridiculous. No, it makes no sense. You can have plot code. There's certain commands, and our friend in the back will always tell us, that you can literally, if most things cannot be done multiple times. I can't tell the AI, hey, work on the back end and the front end for this feature at the same time. It will get lost. Just like you and I would do if you worked the back end of a server and the front end. If we didn't really coordinate beforehand in a piece of paper, and both had a copy of the piece of paper, we screwed up something. And I've seen that happen often. So 10 agents at a time, if they're not all doing something at the same time, they're not doing anything, right? And so I have plenty of projects for which I have a front end, a back end infrastructure where I have to deploy, and I zoom out. I have it in different folders. So I have the front end in one folder with all my front end stuff, back in one folder, all my back end stuff, infrastructure, all the infrastructure stuff. And I'll back into that folder where Claude can see all of them, and I'll describe it. This is the front end, it's this technology, this is the back end, this technology. I'm going to get you to do that, but, and then I say, add this feature, which I know needs both the front end and back end. And it did. And it took 30 minutes, right? Instead of me taking the whole day to do it. And, if I had 3 agents, if it was 3 agents, it would have been what, 20 minutes? Yes. I'm with you, and please, show me where I'm wrong. I can't see why anybody needs 10 agents, because most of the time you need to do something done. So you say, have something done. And then usually you can go / by the way, I'm sorry, I could have shown you that, but you'll / by the way, and they can start doing other things. And there's certain keywords, help me out here if you guys know it, where you can say, I think you can say concurrently do this, but most of the time, you're not really doing 3 things at the same time. Even with my example, where I need to have something done on the front end, something on the back end, and I need something in the infrastructure. And it just took one at a time, and I did it. It's a sub-agents, yes. Those are amazing. I've seen anti-gravity, I've seen Cursor 3.0. That's one of the things that it does. You can literally add a new tab as if you're tabbing, with your browser, all these things. We can do different things in each one, and it does it at the same time, and it does it on your computer. So you want the sub-agents? If I'm wrong, great. You need them? Great. Anti-gravity does, or cursor. Which one did you say? Was it Claude? Which one? It will do it. It will figure out that it needs multiple agents. You hear that? Make this into tasks, define the tasks, and then say, hey, do it all in parallel. That's it? Yes. Say that word one more time. The word command? F-L, oh, like a finger cross. Love it. The plural of cross. Do you have some?
I was going to say, what I do, I spent a lot of time on my product files, also my skills, and in my product I borrowed about maybe a month, 2 months ago, the product from the guy who created Claude was posted. So I grabbed that, and modified it a little bit, but in it he does, say, we'll use agents, and use, Sonnet as your baseline agent.
Yes.
I actually tried using Haiku.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't use Haiku at all right now.
I like Sonnet, yes.
So, I actually use Sonnet for a lot, just to refocus for really challenging stuff.
Yes.
On the initial planning stage.
Yes.
And then I use something called a handoff document. So what I'll do is I'll boot up Opus. So I have my plot engine, that's the baseline plot engine.
Yeah.
Right? And then I have a number of skills that I've designed.
Perfect.
And I really like the skills. And one of the cool things that I have done, I'm curious to hear what other people have done, is I keep my skills in a GitHub repo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Great.
I can go between multiple machines because I'm running a few different plot codes. Like I'm running Opus in the morning and then I switch to Claude at 2.
Yeah.
And
Fun.
not Opus, OpenAI,
Yeah.
Codex, and then I switch to Claude code
Yeah.
at 2 p.m. Because of the caps. And what I've done is in my Claude MD global file, I say I have a specific custom skills repo located at this location, okay, on the machine, so you can go search it via an index called skillsindex.md, capital letters, and I have then a file called skillsindex.md in that repo, and then all the different skills. And the skills index gives the name of the skill and what that skill does, okay, and that has been very faithful in recreating that, and then I can download all my skills to different units.
That's good.
One other thing I did was Andre Carpatha released about 7 different prompts that he uses in his refinement of the skills.
Right.
And I actually took them, used Claude's skill builder skill to combine them into a single skill, because a lot of them resemble a pipeline. Like something like, if you don't have a skill, create the skill, that's the skill builder. If you have the skill, look at it, refine it, and, tamp it down in the number of tokens that you use. So I did that as one pipeline, and then some other things as well. And it basically created a forge skill. And it's been really good for going back over the skills that I wrote and refining them and tweaking them and making them very efficient.
What's your name?
Steve,
you're a lot smarter than me. I don't do any of that. But
I'm not a lot smarter than you. I literally do not know how to code anything but like very basic Python.
Cool.
But like, it really seems like it's a good workflow, because I have written some pipelines, where I do machine learning stuff mostly. That's what I do. And so I have the pipeline going from data acquisition, data refinement, data cleaning to machine learning, okay? And then I have outputs from machine learning, which are like really huge CSV files, And so what I do then is I end up sending them to Opus for analysis.
do you find this is, if you don't mind, that this is something very interesting because at work, that's what, I'm not, by the way, my job is to push AI to it. But every single time I have teams that want to analyze, and they have a hard time. AI does a great job at summary. Fantastic. Translation, incredible. Analyze, okay. And if you need specific numbers, it sucks. That's what we found. But the higher models, 5.4 Opus, OpenAI, 5.4 GPT, and Opus 4.6 have been game changers. You find that?
I'm willing to let Opus 4.6 do that kind of analysis.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm doing a Pareto field analysis over a multi-dimensional optimization.
Yeah.
Okay. Where I've done that for the first point, it's like, okay,
That's what you gave.
with this,
Yes.
okay, do the Gestalt, these are my criteria.
Yes.
Okay, I've already run it through like a hard filter.
Yes.
Okay. These are my criteria.
Yeah.
Give me the best overall solution.
But you already done the NumPy and everything before that. You don't have it do all that, or do you have Opus do that?
Now I have it do all that through the pipeline.
Really?
I only had it do, like, I only started that maybe like 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Okay. Before that, I wouldn't trust it.
Me too. We've been having a lot of trouble. And a lot of times it seems to be the model, and it should never be the model. Because these, the harnesses, right? The Claude Code is called a harness, Codex, Claude Desktop, Cowork, those are harness programs that wrangle the models and all that. And we're seeing a few models that are doing things, but we still don't trust it. Now, I want to hear more. Let's have a conversation about it. I don't want to bore people.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No. You know this better than anybody else.
But I've gone through this pretty rigorously.
Yeah.
Because it's, it's like criteria, okay?
Yes.
And I have, custom visualization tools that I can use to actually look at the data. I drop it down in dimensions, TSME,
Yeah.
and other things, UMAC, and other things like that. Okay. So I'm very comfortable,
You can confirm, you can evaluate. And,
this makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel good about it. Could there be other solutions? Yeah, probably there could. Okay, but I'm faced with choosing one of like 5,000, okay choices.
Right.
What's probably the best choice among the 5,000?
Right. Yeah.
And so far it works okay.
I think the idea is if you can get the grunt work to be done not by Opus but by NumPy and scikit-learn and whatever, like where it's processing everything, please. You need something else.
But you have to like be very, very rigorous.
Yes.
With your, my skill files on this, are very specific.
Yeah.
And what I want, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do. Okay. And and I'm doing hard filter, custom metrics.
Yeah.
That I design. Okay.
And those are skills you put in, or you're doing the Python work too?
All that stuff is done hard coded.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Okay.
then the final step.
Yeah. The analyzing.
The
Yeah.
final step, the analysis.
Yes.
That is Opus.
Perfect.
With the skill in Opus.
We found that the problem is that don't ever ask it to do math. Don't ever ask it to sum. It does sorting pretty well. And by the way, some of the things that we know is that Claude Code can and does write Python code, which doesn't save anywhere, to do something, to get a result, and give it back to Opus. It literally does that. The plugin for Excel is revolutionary because it's much better than the Cowork, than the Copilot, the Microsoft one. It's much better at this moment because it does that. It does Python in the beginning, does a little bit of whatever it realizes it can't do by itself, because it's a large language model, not a large numerical model, right? And it literally does some of the basics with a NumPy, with just sorting, just basic stuff, gives it back to it, and then sends it to the LLM.
But I would say that out of all the things that Claude does,
Yeah.
oh my God, that Claude Excel plugin,
Yes.
it burns tokens.
Yes.
It's not just a burn tokens.
Yeah. The PowerPoint is worse.
It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like if I can get away with doing something and it seems like to me, like the web application burns these tokens.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
And then if you're using the Excel program and maybe some of the other programs, maybe plus the finance, I don't know. You know, that seems to burn an awful lot.
We found the same. We found the exact same thing, the Excel one. It's doing the magic stuff for the financial department, doing magic stuff. But we're still, there's too many people that don't trust it, so we're still working on that. We want to make sure, evaluation, that's the word for testing an AI world, and that's everything. We are constantly doing evaluations, constantly to make sure it works.
I'm going to share one more thing and we'll shut up. I found something just recently which looks really interesting to say focus. There's something called AveNet. Okay? So it's
From the office.